Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking on a topic that honestly, if you've turned on a radio or, I don't know, just been online at all in 2024 and 2025, you know exactly who we're talking about. Sabrina Carpenter.
It is so much more than just a moment. It's like a strategic takeover. We're looking at a whole stack of sources today that track this incredibly deliberate transition.
And a successful one. I mean, we're talking about major definitive validation at the 2025 Grammy.
Oh, for sure. Best pop vocal album for Short and Sweet, and of course, that song Espresso, which was just inescapable, got Best Pop Solo Performance.
Then the commercial side of it is just, it's a total lockdown. Her latest album, Man's Best Friend, from 2025, it just went straight to #1 on the Billboard 200.
And its lead single, Man-Child, that was her second U.S. Hot 100 #1. So this isn't, just a viral blip. This is sustained, high-level superstar status.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to trace the blueprint. How does a recognizable Disney Channel actress with kind of plateauing albums execute this decade-long transition into a global pop icon who is completely in control?
We're really going to focus on those turning points, the label shifts, the calculated risks that just fueled this incredible, explosive success.
Okay, let's unpack it. And we have to start with the foundation, the early grind, even before the Disney fame.
Right. So she was born in 1999 in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, and it sounds like music was always the thing.
Always. I read she was posting YouTube covers of, like, Christina Aguilera and Adele when she was 10.
10 years old. And get this, her dad literally built her a recording studio in their house.
Wow. Okay, so that's serious commitment from the very beginning.
And that focus, it paid off pretty quick. In 2010, she placed third in this competition. I think it was called The Next Miley Cyrus Project.
And then just a year later, she's 11, and she lands her first acting role on Law & Order, SVU.
But the real career accelerator, the thing that put her on the global map, that was Disney.
Girl Meets World. Her role as Maya Hart. That was, 2014 to 2017?
Exactly. But that's also where the constraints really begin, because that TV role came with the whole Disney package.
Meaning the record deal.
The 5-album contract with the Disney-owned Hollywood Records. Her first album, Eyes Wide Open, came out in 2015, and it peaked at number 43 on the Billboard 200. It was solid, but it wasn't a smash hit.
Right. It wasn't the kind of instant chart dominance you saw from, say, other stars who came up through that same Disney machine.
It took a while. Her first RIAA platinum single was Thumbs, and that didn't come until her second album, Evolution, in 2016.
What's really interesting here is that even while she was in that system, she was clearly trying to show she could do more. She was diversifying.
Absolutely. She was working hard to build a different kind of portfolio. She was in the movie The Hate U Give in 2018. She starred in that Netflix movie, Work It.
And she was on Broadway, right? Briefly.
Yeah. Very briefly. She was Ketty Heron in Mean Girls in 2020, but it was tragic timing. The pandemic shut everything down after only 2 performances.
If you look at that early run, compared to Miley or a Demi Lovato, why did her albums kind of stall out under Disney? What was holding her back?
Well, that's the fascinating contrast. The Disney machine gave her this huge platform, this visibility, but their label, Hollywood Records, it tends to enforce a certain sound.
A corporate sound.
A corporate sound, exactly. And a pace of release that, frankly, it just limits real artistic growth in the modern era. Her sound was constrained, and it didn't really translate to, social media leverage. It just wasn't built for the viral world we live in now.
So to find her real commercial voice, she had to break out of that machine. And that brings us to the crucial pivot point.
Reclaiming her narrative. The emails I can't send.
Era. This feels like the defining strategic move.
It was, 2021. She moves from Hollywood Records to Island Records, part of Universal Music Group. And this wasn't just, swapping one logo for another. This was a calculated play for artistic control.
She said something about it being the perfect place for her next chapter, right?
She did. And the fact that she was even able to negotiate her way out of that restrictive multi-album Disney deal, that says a lot about her growing business savvy.
And you heard that freedom in the music immediately. Emails I Can't Send in 2022 it was such a radical departure.
Totally. It was her most personal work by far. More pop and folk pop, less instrumentation, and just really leaning into storytelling piano ballads.
She basically traded the mandatory pop formula for raw honesty.
Yes. The whole concept was based on actual emails she wrote but never sent. She's dealing with these heavy themes: trust, disappointment, and infidelity, which is right there in the title track. It was authentic, it was vulnerable, and it was exactly what she needed to do.
And that authenticity, when you combine it with, a real mastery of how platforms like TikTok work, that's where you get the viral power.
Which brings us to nonsense.
The ultimate calling card.
Nonsense was genius because it leveraged something totally unique to her. The improvised, kind of sexually suggestive outros she would do every single night on tour.
Those little clips went everywhere on TikTok.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And it turned the song into this cultural moment that eventually went platinum. She proved she knew how to harness that fleeting internet energy and make it stick.
And even when she courted a little controversy, she handled it with a level of control that Disney would just never have allowed.
You're talking about the Feather music video?
Filming it in a Catholic church, the violent imagery, I mean, it got very polarized reviews.
It did. The local diocese was not happy. The pastor involved was actually relieved of his duties, but her response to it all was just perfect.
The 5-word joke.
Jesus was a carpenter.
It's more than just clever, right? That's expert-level crisis PR. It showed the world she was confident and completely playing by her own rules now.
Precisely. So that whole era laid the groundwork. She redefined her identity. But the real commercial explosion that happened when she plugged that new, authentic identity into the biggest promotional platform in music history.
We have to talk about the Eras Tour.
The Taylor Swift effect. It's undeniable.
Opening for her across Latin America, Australia, Singapore, basically all through 2023 and 2024, the scale of that exposure is just monumental.
She said the crowds were unlike any crowd I've ever played to before. And that exposure immediately, and I mean immediately, translated into commercial success on a scale we hadn't seen from her.
Her album Short and Sweet drops in 2024 and just debuts at #1 on the Billboard 200.
Moving 362,000 units in the first week. And the song that launched all of it, Espresso, was just... it was a global monster.
It topped the Billboard Global 200. It hit #3 on the Hot 100, won a VMA.
And it was the second most streamed song on Spotify in the world for 2024. Just think about that. The second most streamed song on the planet. That's true ubiquity.
And the momentum just kept building. The next single, Please, Please, Please,
goes straight to #1. Her first U.S. Hot 100 #1 single.
So then the third single, Taste, comes out and charts at #2. And when you look at all three of those songs together on the charts at the same time, she achieved something genuinely historic.
She became the first act since the Beatles to have their first 3 top 5 hits on the Hot 100 in a single week.
Let's just pause on that. Since the Beatles, that is just, it's astonishing company to be in.
It's unbelievable. And she did the same thing in the UK. First female artist to hold the #1 and 2 spots on their singles chart for 3 weeks in a row. She also became the first artist in 71 years to spend 20 weeks on top of the UK singles chart in 1 calendar year.
She completely redefined what chart domination looks like in the streaming era.
And all that commercial power, it just instantly gave her the artistic agency that she never had at her old label.
Which lets you do something like the cover for Man's Best Friend. You can't not talk about that cover art.
Exactly. When you have 3 top 5 hits at once, you've earned the right to push some boundaries.
And that cover was definitely pushing boundaries. It was so provocative, and it really did divide people.
For sure. Some critics and fans found it degrading. Others saw it as this, satirical commentary on female pop stardom. But the real takeaway is that she had the power to make that choice, knowing her success would protect her from any real career damage.
And beyond the art, she's using that massive platform for actual social impact now.
Yeah, she launched the Sabrina Carpenter Fund with PLUS1 for her tour. It supports mental health, animal welfare, the LGBTQ+ community.
And our sources say that fund hit $1 million faster than any other artist PLUS1 had ever worked with. That's real quantifiable influence.
And she's focused on civic engagement, too. Her work with Headcount registered over 35,000 voters on her tour, more than any other artist in 2024.
Her commercial partnerships are on that same level. We're talking Skims, her own Dunkin' Donuts drink.
This Sabrina's brown sugar shaken espresso.
And even having her own skin as the theme for a season of Fortnite, she's operating across music, fashion, food, and gaming all at once.
Wait, so what does it all mean?
The deep dive shows her rise wasn't sudden. It wasn't luck. It was a calculated strategic move away from corporate constraints, a commitment to an authentic voice, and just a brilliant maximization of modern platforms.
She basically built a new blueprint for pop stardom. The whole success story is a testament to strategic autonomy. It proved that when a star is forced to operate in that kind of restrictive corporate box, their true potential is often hidden.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture...
Yeah, it leaves you with this kind of, this provocative final thought, right?
Yeah.
Given that her early albums basically had to plateau under that corporate control, what does that tell us about the path for future artists? Do you almost have to sort of fail at your first big record deal to eventually achieve true autonomous superstardom?
That is a fascinating strategic question for you to mull over. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.